It's an awesome Monday today, and it's time for Faith Capsules powered by the Shaper's Ark. This is Wonuola Adetayo, the Shaper. Our scripture for today is taken from Matthew chapter 18 and verse 9. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with one eye rather than having two eyes to be cast into hellfire. This scripture is a sober call to deal aggressively with anything or anyone in our lives that could tamper with our relationship with Christ. It is a clarion call to every believer to guard jealously our ultimate redemption and eternity with Christ. It is a call to deal decisively with our vulnerabilities that could lead to eternal separation from God. How sad it would be to be called a child of God here on earth and end up being separated from God in eternity. Let's take a look at a few examples of these vulnerabilities. Number 1, love of money. 1 Timothy 6:10 describes the love of money as the root of all evils. Judas's love of money made him susceptible to the manipulation of the enemy. He sold his master for 30 pieces of silver. Unlike Peter, Judas never repented. He was consumed with the guilt of betrayal and took his own life. Judas lost his salvation and eternal home with Christ. My friend, we cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. Second vulnerability, love of the world. 1 John 2:15-17 warns every believer not to fall in love with the world or the things in the world, because the love of the world gradually steals our hearts from Christ. Demas's love of the world caused him to abandon the faith. He became desolate. He lost his salvation. He did not find a place with Christ in eternity. My friend, stop worrying about what you will eat or wear. Trust God to meet your needs. Anyone who is a friend of the world is an enemy of God. James chapter 4 and verse 4. Third vulnerability, disrespect for and blasphemy against God. 1 Timothy 1:17 reminds us that all glory and honor belong to God forever. When Jesus taught us to pray, he taught us that the name of God is to be hallowed. Hymenaeus and Philetus were guilty of disregard for God in 2 Timothy chapter 2 verses 16-18. Paul also wrote about Hymenaeus and Alexander in 1 Timothy 1:18-20 regarding their blasphemy. They did not honor God, and as such, they made a shipwreck of their faith and they lost their salvation. 2 Timothy 2:16-17 warns us to avoid irreverent conversations and meaningless babblings, because they spread like gangrene, leading others astray and resulting in ungodliness and loss of salvation. Vulnerability number 4, incomplete obedience. 1 Samuel 15:22 assures us that obedience is far better than sacrifice. Saul's decision to obey God partially not only cost him his throne, but cut short his life and robbed him of ultimate redemption. Saul, who was chosen of God, who once prophesied, ended up consulting the witch at Endor. My friend, there are many vulnerabilities that we cannot begin to name them all. Our counsel to you is to be on guard like Apostle Paul, who determinedly put his flesh under subjection in order not to lose the most important gift of life, which is our salvation. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Till I come your way again next week, this is Wonuola Adetayo, the Shaper. Shalom.